man there, she wanted me to go see him, and I told her no. I just went on down there, got my clothes and my stuff. And I went back there and I hollered a time or two, and the man come out, old man. And I told him I needed to rent that place over there, see, get some cooking utensils. And some food to eat. And I'd like to rent that little bunk up. See, well, we wasn't doing too good on that. He got, you know, you make the signs, all you can. Well, he finally said he would take 80 pesos. You know, well, that's robbery, 30 days rent. And just an old thing like that, but I finally just give it up, let it go. Said, okay, I'll do that. So, I don't need any money. You don't need much money to buy rice, and I'm going to catch the fish. I got a hook and a line, and I like shellfish, and, you know, I've been living on the river when I was a kid up in the north end, and we had a cow, and a dog, and several chickens, and I was going to show you that. When the Depression came, I had this kind of a thing. My dad made me a cup. You dipped your water out of a bucket that you carried the water into the house. That's the way it was. Each kid had one of these, see, and you dipped it out of the bucket. And if you didn't have enough water, if you got up in the middle of the night and wanted to drink, and that bucket was empty, you could either go to the spring and get it or drink out of the wash pan. You know, you had a choice. Well, are you leaving? I'll charge you that. Oh. So anyway, wasn't long till that girl came back over the hill. And she had some stuff in cook pots and all of that, you know. And she was smiling and everything was nice, but I learned something a long time ago. I learned from the Navajo that if you want to find your body by the water hole with no head on it, mess with somebody's women, see. Old Dan wasn't messing with any women. Besides, I was still in love and had a pain in my stomach about that kind of stuff. She cooked a meal, and I caught a bunch of them fish, you know, them exotic fish, you see them. This here long blues, grays, some will bite you if you pick them up. But anyway, I had some of them, and she fixed them up. They taste pretty good. They have a different habit of eating them than I was used to. They just kind of get them on the fire and turn them a little crinkly, and then you bite off the head first and chew until then the part you can't swallow, you spit that out. The next bite's the stomach, it's got a shell in it, do that, and you bite that out. And the thing you got to learn too is don't make fun of anybody's food. Don't make fun of anybody's food. Then they come in to think you think they're better than they are. See, you don't want that. You want a friend. I was telling Ron about that this morning. Last night, in that place where I'm staying, that old Boulevard Motel, that's a good outfit. It's clean bed, smells all right in there. Check the sheets, nobody used them first. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But the guy that runs the place is Korean. See? And I talked to them a few minutes and got the drift of what they were saying when they're talking to each other. I can't speak Korean either, but I can hear, you know. And then I got to get something to eat, and it's a 2-mile walk to get to the grocery store. And so I finally called up, I got pizza, and they wouldn't bring you just one, see, because I was buying a little pizza. So they told me they'd bring me 2. Well, I said, okay, bring 2. So they brought 2, and it was a good pizza, you know. My old belly can't eat half of one of them. So I just took that other one and I went down to that place and I paid off a debt that I owed. I give that Korean couple that pizza. And they're trying to wonder what I did that for, and I said, it's just because I want you to have it, see. Well, I was working in the steel mills in a place called Iwata in Japan. And the Koreans were prisoners there too, see. And they were good to me, and I was good to them. I was good to the Japanese workmen. And the Korean asked me, he said, why aren't you strong like most Americans, see? And I told him I wasn't getting enough meat, see? The next morning they brought me a fried mouse, this man, just skinned, gutted, head still on, feet from the inside, fried. Smelled good. I didn't figure I weighed about, what, 100 pounds? I figured that's nothing to spit out. God give us might and we can eat the rodents, eat it. I just stuck that in my mouth and I just chewed until it was all gone. And I felt warm until noon. I felt warm. And I thank God for him. Well, maybe I didn't pay the whole debt. Maybe that made the difference between living and dying. Some of these kind of things in a different kind of world. But anyway, meanwhile, back at the Schwally hut, at night, she put up a bed. I got mine out by I was going to take the quinine. She had to keep the malaria off. I got the bed off, my bed on the floor, and the floor and everything leaked with, you know, bamboo slats and all made this strips, and walls was wobbly. But I was going to look out that big place there where it was like that window and hear the ocean, and I could hear her crying. I could hear her crying.
See, I can turn the speaker off, I think.
Okay, kick his tires if you will. That's about all I know about speakers. But anyway, I tried to tell her that there was nothing going to happen to her. You know, I wouldn't bother her. Well, the next night it was the same thing. But the people came up to that place the next night, the next afternoon. And they brought one guy had a one-string guitar. And they brought a mortar and pestle, some of them people working on the rice. You know. And everybody was singing a little song, they'd sing the song. La karati-punu, la ta-ti-dun-bu. You know, this kind of thing, happiness going on, and everybody got to dancing, and here comes that girl, and she was dolled up. I mean, dolled up. Well, and hair all fixed up nice, and everybody was dancing, and it was a good kind of a thing going on there. And some of the men were dancing, and I started to get up and dance, and told me to sit down. And finally she danced over there and held up her hands like this, and the kid beside me said, I put my hands up, and you know what happened? About then in the top of my head it said, Dan, you bought that thing. No wonder she cost so much. No wonder $80. Well, I ain't going to embarrass her or me or anybody else. I put my fingers up, and she put her fingers through mine and walked around behind me. Finally, the people went home, and the woman came out. And we learned to speak each other's language a little bit. But, hindi bigiti ro pala nakita sa kapapal. And it was no different being married to her than if you got a piece of paper that says that you're married. And the courthouse burns down, you see. Well, it finally got to be the end of my furlough. So I showed her, I drew her a map, moons. I drew her, and I mark them off, and then I tell her I get back here. And that would have got me back there in January. Three days later, the Japanese invaded Lingayen and they blew that village off the map. And while they were doing that, I was asking the man that told me that I was a misfit to go back up there and get her out of that. I told him my wife is there, I am married to her. And he said, I'll tell you something, soldier, you don't marry these people, you use them and leave them. Well, he was that kind of a man, and he'd made that many statements to so many and so many dirty decisions like that, that I believed that when he got killed in the service, in the war, in this combat, that one of us did it, but it wasn't me. I figured he's too stupid to kill. Well, I went back there. I went back there after the war to see if there was any chance. Take it from here. I didn't know her last name. The village wasn't there. Her name was Milin. And she called me Dan Emery. She couldn't say Dan Emery. She called me Dan Emery. I didn't know her father's name. I didn't know anything way to find her. But I looked. Well, you didn't come to hear about this kind of thing, but it gives you background for what happened to me. I was a good soldier. Before I was 13, I'd been killing rabbits. Anything you had to eat, we didn't have refrigeration. We couldn't afford to kill a cow. I picked apricots until I got a horse, an old horse that the guy was going to have to kill. And I took it home. My dad said, we can't afford a sick horse. And he traded it to a guy for a pig. The guy killed the horse so the other pigs could eat it. Brought that pig home. We butchered it. Fried it. You know, you fried, and then you fry the meat, put it in a crock, pour the grease over the top of it. And then the smoked part, you make a ham. My dad got the hams, turned them into whiskey, traded them to bootleg. You didn't do that. See, if you got a rabbit, everybody ate. I could get a rabbit. Other things you eat, you don't talk about all them kind of things all the time, but anyway, we were doing that. And my dad gave me 3 shells. I had a single shot Stevens. He pulled the trigger, pulled the plate down, put another bullet in it, put that up, pull the trigger. He gave me 3 shells. He said, I want 3 growls. Head, neck, or no meat, or your butt gets kicked. Well, I didn't get many butt kicking. See, I was good at this war with the Japanese. But they shot me